the Dark Ages are called dark is because Europe was dominated by superstition and by boring religious debates about like how many angels can fit on the head of a pin. And while there's something to that, the Middle Ages also saw theologians like Thomas Aquinas, who was quite an important philosopher, and women like Hildegard of Bingen, who wrote all this important liturgical music and also basically invented the genre of the morality play. All that noted, things were certainly brighter in the Islamic world, or Dar al-Islam. So when we last
I don't know why most of my chat is usually r/atheist, like full of r/atheist dipshits. But as soon as it touches like Euro supremacy, they forget all about how like religion is bad, and literally had this like insane reaction when a big chunk of the reason why the Dark Ages were so dark was literally because of Christianity. Like, it's really interesting seeing the conflicting opinions that a lot of you hold, like the conflicting points of view that you have. Meanwhile, Islam was pretty good at this stage, so there's that too.
Left the Muslims, they had expanded out of their homeland in Arabia and conquered the rich Egyptian provinces of the Byzantines and the entire Sasanian Empire, all in the space.
That falls in line with the argument. That's what I'm saying. Like, a big part of the Dark Age being so dark is literally directly because of Christianity, and yet they are, instead of utilizing that, otherwise they're very fucking mad at Christianity, utilizing that against Christianity. Instead of doing that, they're like, no, fuck you. The Dark Ages were not dark. That's not real.
Of about 100 years. The Umayyad dynasty then expanded the empire west to Spain and moved the capital to Damascus because it was closer to the action empire-wise, but still technically in Arabia. That was really important to the Umayyads because they'd established this hierarchy with the Arabs like them at the top, and in fact they tried to keep Arabs from fraternizing with non-Arab Muslims throughout the empire. This of course annoyed the non-Arab Muslims, who were like, I don't know if you're reading the same Quran we are, but this one says that we're all supposed to be equal. And pretty quickly a majority of Muslims weren't Arabs, which made it pretty easy for them to overthrow the Umayyads, which they did in 750 CE. Their replacements, the Abbasids, hold on.
Abbasid or Abbasid.
Ah, I'm right twice! Right, so the Abbasids were from the Abbasi, or Abbasi family, which hailed from one of the eastern and therefore more Persian provinces of the Islamic Empire. The Abbasids took over in 750, and no one could fully defeat them until 1258 when they were conquered by, wait for it, the Mongols. The Abbasids kept the idea of a hereditary monarchy, but they moved the capital of the empire to Baghdad.
Okay, but this fucking bullshit. They're not talking about how I want a Eurocentric approach to the Dark Ages, not like what the other cultures and civilizations were doing and how much better they were than Europe at the time.
And they were much more welcoming of non-Arab Muslims into positions of power. And under the Abbasids, the Dar al-Islam took on a distinctly Persian cast that it never really lost. The Caliph now styled himself as a king of kings, just like the Achaemenids had, and pretty soon the Caliph's rule was a lot more indirect, just like the original Persians. This meant that his control was much weaker, and by about 1000 CE...
Actual history is more fun than art history, in my opinion.
The Islamic Caliphate, which looked so incredibly impressive on a map, had really descended into a series of smaller kingdoms, each paying lip service to the Caliph in Baghdad. This was partly because the Islamic Empire relied more and more on soldiers from the frontier, in this case the Turks, and also slaves pressed into military service in order to be the backbone of their army, a strategy that has been tried over and over again and has worked exactly 0 times, which you should remember if you ever become an emperor. Actually, our resident historian points out that that strategy has worked, if you are the Mongols. More important than the Persian-style monarchy that the Abbasids set up was their openness to foreigners and their ideas. That tolerance and curiosity ushered in a golden age of Islamic learning centered in Baghdad. The Abbasids oversaw an effervescence of culture unlike anything that had been seen since Hellenistic times. Arabic replaced Greek not only as the language of commerce and religion, but also of culture. Philosophy, medicine, and poetry were all written in Arabic, although Persian remained an important...
La 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 la, I don't want to believe you. Or, sorry, it would be more like, la 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 la, I do not want to believe you. This is bullshit. None of this is relevant or real. I do not want to hear you. What you're saying is absolute nonsense. Nonsense, I tell you.
Literary language. And Baghdad became the world's center of scholarship with its house of wisdom and immense library. Muslim scholars translated the works of Greek philosophers, including Aristotle and Plato, as well as scientific works by Hippocrates, Archimedes, and especially the physician Galen. And they translated and preserved Buddhist and Hindu manuscripts that might otherwise have been lost. Muslims made huge strides in medicine as well. One Muslim scholar, Ibn Sina, wrote the Canon of Medicine, which became the standard medical textbook for centuries in both Europe and the Middle East. And the Islamic Empire adopted mathematical concepts from India, such as the zero, a number so fascinating and beautiful that we could write an entire episode about it, but instead, I'm just gonna write it a little love poem. Oh, zero, pretty little zero. They say you're nothing, but you mean everything to mathematical history and me.
Europeans call him Avicenna, Ibn Sina.
Oh, it's time for the open letter? An open letter to science and religion. But first, let's see what's in the secret compartment today. Oh, champagne poppers. Stan, what am I supposed to do with these? Dear science and religion, you're supposed to be so irreconcilable and everything, but not so much in the Abbasid Empire. I mean, Muslim mathematicians expanded math to such a degree that we now call the base 10 number system and the symbols we use to denote it Arabic numerals. And religion was at least part of what pushed all
Arabic numerals? I don't like it! We need them American numerals, brother. I heard that our alphabet is Latiner. I don't like that. Latin alphabet, Arabic numerals. What the fuck are they teaching my goddamn kids in school? Stop the count. This is why we need to do homeschooling, brother.
all that learning forward. Like the great philosopher Ibn Rushd argued that the only path to religious enlightenment was through Aristotelian reasoning, and Muslim mathematicians and astronomers developed algebra partly so they could simplify Islamic inheritance law. Plus, they made important strides in trigonometry to help people understand where to turn when trying to turn toward Mecca. You were working so well together, science and religion, but then, like Alan Tipper Gore, just couldn't last forever. Nothing gold can stay in this world. Nothing gold can stay. Best wishes, John Green. Baghdad wasn't the only center of learning in the Islamic world. In Spain, Islamic Cordoba became a center for the arts, especially architecture. This is perhaps best exemplified by the Great Mosque at Cordoba, built by the Umayyad ruler Abd al-Rahman I in 785 to 786 CE. That's right, this building, still standing today and one of the most amazing mosques in the world, was built in a year, whereas medieval cathedrals took like a million years to finish. The Muslims of Spain were
some of them not finished yet.
Also engineers who rivaled the Romans. Aqueducts in Cordoba brought drinkable water into the city, and Muslim scholars took the lead in agricultural science, improving yields on all kinds of new crops, allowing Spanish lives to be longer and less hungry. Everybody wanted to live in Spain. Even the greatest Jewish philosopher Maimonides wanted to live in Spain.
Wait, you see, I thought Spain was Catholic? Yeah, there was a point in time when it wasn't, brother.
But sadly, he was expelled and ended up in Alexandria, Egypt. There he wrote his awesomely titled Defensive Rationality, A Guide for the Perplexed. I'm translating the title, of course, because the original text was written in Arabic. Meanwhile, China was having a golden age of its own. The Tang dynasty made China's government more of a meritocracy and ruled over 80 million people across 4 million square miles. And they might have conquered all of Central Asia had it not been for the Abbasids, whom they fought at the most important battle you've never heard of, the Battle of the Talus River. This was like the Ali Frazier of the 8th century, and the Abbasids won, which ended up defining who had...
That's why the Spanish are Turks. And by way of the Spanish, both the indigenous population, also Turks, and the Spanish colonizers, also Turks. So that way, Latin America is also Turkish. South Americans, also Turks.
Cultural influence where, with the Abbasids dominating to the west of the river and China dominating to the east. The Tang also produced incredible art that was traded all throughout Asia. And many of the more famous sculptures from the Tang dynasty feature figures who are distinctly not Chinese, which again demonstrates the diversity of the empire. The Tang was also a golden age for Chinese poetry, with notables like Du Fu and Li Ba plying their craft, encouraged by the official government. And the Sung dynasty, which lasted from 960 to 1258, kicked even more ass, it's not cursing if if you're talking about donkeys. By the 11th century, Chinese metalworkers were producing as much iron as Europe would be able to produce in the 18th century. Some of this iron was put to use in new plows, which enabled agriculture to boom, thereby supporting population growth. Porcelain was of such high quality that it was shipped throughout the world, which is why we now call it China. And there was so much trade going on that the Chinese ran out of metal for coins, leading to another innovation: paper money. And by the 11th century, the Chinese were writing down their recipe for a mixture of saltpeter, sulfur, and charcoal that we now know as gunpowder. That becomes kind of a big deal in history, paving the way as it does for modern warfare and arena rock.
1453, utilization of massive cannons to take down walls that contributed in significant ways to the end of the feudal era and feudal lordships, as monarchies or kings were able to utilize gunpowder and massive cannons to blow up these big walls inside of where lords existed. I've had so many arguments with fascists that deny all these achievements of other civilizations. I think the best way to counter fascists is by talking about Chinese, like Chinese and Japanese innovation, but specifically Chinese innovation, because without the Chinese, like, let's say, fuck the Turks or whatever, but without the Chinese, like, you have no, a fundamental part of your culture does not exist. You know what I mean? Like, wars aren't fought in the same way. Like, it's so dumb. And it's so dumb that it's like virtually unavoidable.
Who loved the Twitch stream that he ran. He looked at
no paper, no gunpowder. Like, how do you survive? How do you have culture or history without that? So, I mean, it's just like, of course, these the fascists are oftentimes like looking at history from a totally ahistorical and totally mythologized point of view that like really beefs up their own personal history. That the remnants of that cultural understanding are so pervasive that people, I think, had a negative reaction to what I was saying about the Dark Ages in Europe. Like, that's part of the reason. I think because people get mad. They're like, well, how dare you say that? It's like, no, dude, Europe fucking sucked. Like, literally sucked. They were living in filth. It is remarkable in comparison to what the Romans were able to achieve. Like, they just basically were like, all right, well, these are cities. We're just going to live in them, but we're going to live in them like fucking animals. Anyway. But that's the reason why people get mad. There's a reason historians see these locations differently during this time. Your original point is still correct. Yeah, when I was talking about Dark Ages, I was absolutely referencing just Europe, and I specified it as such. Obviously, someone who learned history at a different part of the fucking world would clearly not learn about the European Dark Ages in the same way.
Pyrotechnics and, oh, that's why. Not so dark after all. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next.
Dark Ages weren't really all that dark from a philosophical or scientific perspective. Most historians dispute the idea of Dark Ages. No. The only way to dispute the Dark Ages is if you dispute it from the point of view of like the rest of the world was not necessarily in the Dark Ages, which is true. That's why you don't learn about it as like the Dark Ages.
State the prowess of the Vikings
anywhere
because
else.
They want to justify why they got taken over, right? So these are like short little hungry men from Norway who are trying to escape a famine, and they're described as these like 6 feet tall giants coming down because you want to explain.
You're not countering fascism. You're literally saying ahistorical shit. Even historians don't consider European Middle Ages as Dark Ages. You're legit lying. In comparison to the advancements made by preceding cultures and civilizations, technological achievements were few and Dark Ages is an ahistorical term. Okay, I was wrong. They actually didn't live in feudal
I also am a
lordships,
small hungry man
an
looking for
incredibly
better lands.
decentralized, peasantry-focused governance that did not really advance all that much. I'm wrong. They weren't fucking barbarians. I'm wrong about that as well. It's just totally made up. I made all of that up. They were actually doing fucking sick. There was never anything that you could consider. There's never anything that you could consider. They didn't get owned by fucking rats. That's also bullshit. The plague is bullshit. Losing all their fucking historical texts and all of that, like all of that's bullshit. All of that is bullshit. None of that actually ever happened. I am being ahistorical. Let's take a look at the PragerU.
No period of history is more misunderstood or underappreciated than the Middle Ages. The 10 centuries from the fall of the Roman Empire in the 5th century to the start of the Renaissance in the 15th. This is especially true between the year 1000, when global warming brought grapes to England and grain to the coasts of Greenland, doubling the population and reviving town life all across Europe, and 1348, after the warming had ended and the Black Death arrived from the east. Let's take a closer look at these years. We'll make a good start by dispelling some nonsense. The people of the Middle Ages did not believe the earth was flat. They knew it was round. The ancients said it was round.
Okay, that's not false. He's right about that.
Fathers of the church
He's literally not wrong about that. This might be the only factually correct take in a PragerU video ever.
said it was round. They saw its shadow during an eclipse of the moon, and the shadow was round. They saw masks of ships sinking below the horizon.
Wait, that's very confusing. This is literally the first time when PragerU is correct about something.
More nonsense. The Middle Ages were cheerless. Quite the reverse. They were full of color, of celebrations involving everybody in town. They invented the carnival. They revived popular drama, which had lain dormant for 1,000 years. Whatever they did, whether it was sinning or fighting or repenting or falling in love or traveling thousands of miles to Rome or to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, they did it with energy and gusto.
What?
What do we owe to the Middle?
So they walked around? So it wasn't as bad, dude? What? Is it just walking, dude? I'm just walking and I'm marching with energy
Hey,
and
Arjan,
gusto,
you complain
dude.
that chat doesn't send you funny TTS, but how would you know when you consistently Wall us? Like right now I'm being Walled, bro, you're not listening. This could be the
This is
funniest
true.
TTS ever and you wouldn't know.
This is true.
Middle Ages. How about the
This is so disingenuous. So many historians have argued that Europe wasn't
University.
dark during the Middle Ages. I don't give a fuck what these inbred conservative fascists
medieval
think.
man invented it? For the first time in the history of the world, you could go to Paris or Bologna or Padua or Oxford or Prague or Cologne and study under masters of law, medicine, philosophy, and theology, and your degree designating you as a man.
Bitch, who? Like, yeah, if you fucking owned shit, what do you mean, dude? Dude. Yeah, no. Oh, it wasn't a Dark Ages because, everyone was just traveling around doing carnivals and learning law, medicine, philosophy, dude. What the fuck? What? This is so good.
Master or a doctor would hold good anywhere in Europe. It was an international community of scholars. A young Thomas Aquinas, born in southern Italy at the beginning of the 13th century, would travel to Cologne to study philosophy under the philosopher-biologist Albert the Great, then to Paris, where he taught theology and philosophy, then to Rome, and back to France. And this sort of thing was the rule among scholars, not the exception. How about modern science? Thomas's teacher, Albert, was a biologist. Why should that surprise us? Medieval man believed that God made the world as an ordered whole. They learned it both from scripture and from pagan thinkers such as Aristotle. Science did not burst on the scene with Galileo. Copernicus died.
Yeah, fuck Galileo, dude. All my homies hate Galileo. That bitch. Fucking, how dare they shit on the church, dude? Yo, fuck you. The church was leading the science. Is this back when PragerU was a real university? No, they were never a real university. These people jerk off 800-year-old philosophers and they say you wasted your degree if it's not fucking construction. Also true.
In the 16th century, but he was a priest astronomer at a Polish university founded in the Middle Ages. He wasn't even the first man to suggest that the Earth orbited the sun. Others had ventured the suggestion. Most prominent was the late medieval Nicholas of Cusa, a philosopher and a cardinal in the church. How about architecture? If the Middle Ages were dark and ignorant, how come ordinary people, masons, carpenters, painters, sculptors, glazers, erected the most beautiful and majestic buildings to grace the earth, the Gothic cathedrals, without power tools, with pulleys and winches and scaffolding in their bare hands, they built up lacework in stone and glass, flooding vast interior spaces with color and light. We have nothing to match their complexity and beauty. And art? Studying the ancients, medieval...
Dude, I feel like every time PragerU talks about history, I don't know why, it feels like they're justifying it. Like, am I crazy? I mean, I guess people say the same thing about me whenever I talk about, like, I don't know, Ottoman history and shit. So maybe I'm like I feel like they're overlooking a big chunk of history when they are making it seem as though like everybody was just like living and fucking and roaming and walking and building cathedrals. Also, notice how like in this timeline I like that there was a point in time where he starts off by saying the fall of Rome, or at least like, you know, the Eastern, or not Eastern, sorry, the Western Roman Empire as we know it, and not the Greek Orthodox Byzantine Empire. And then he jumps directly to here. Like I feel like there was a big chunk that he just skipped over, hard skipped, and was like, you know, Thomas Aquinas and Nicholas of Cusa and cathedrals. Like, what happened in between that area? Like I feel like there was some time there that you just kind of hard skipped. All the way to like the 1400s with.
Better be described as the brilliant.
Did you even watch the video? He wasn't super detailed, but he definitely talked about it.
Ages. A startling epoch of progress from science to art, from philosophy to medicine. Indeed, in one crucial way, we are less civilized than those who enhanced human existence over 1,000 years ago. We dismiss the achievements of our ancestors and fall short of them. They honored their ancestors and surpassed them.
What? Yeah, we talked about Robert Lee. I did a little research, and I think the amount I've done has allowed me to say that there's a real academic debate about the Dark Ages. I think we shouldn't watch PragerU Psychos and maybe watch somebody else. Literally everything he's talking about is just before the Renaissance. No fucking shit. They got better at stuff literally after 1,000 years. Yeah. That's what I said, and people got mad at me originally. And of course, like, listen, Dark Ages is a Eurocentric approach. It's not fucking Dark Ages for anywhere else. As what was my take as well. But look, if you have a counter to that, and if you're going to tell me that after the fall of the Roman Empire, that society still advanced at a similar clip in Europe, and maybe I'm totally wrong on it because you were making it seem as though I was, then I'm willing to be open-minded about it. I get your meme trying to deconstruct the fascist ideas of Europe being some bastion of civilization anyways, but the European Dark Ages are a construct that's pretty disputed by historians as being relevant.
We've all heard of the term Dark Ages, that medieval period in which all learning stopped and everything became terrible. It's a term attributed to Petrarch, who, like later Renaissance thinkers, thought that the Middle Ages were...
Look, this also doesn't mean that, like, that during the Islamic Golden Age, like, everything was poggers in the Muslim world, or that the Asian empires were always super advanced or anything like that. It's just that society didn't necessarily evolve as fast as it did, as it did under the Roman Empire.
Were a period of
that was my
darkness
point.
In comparison to the classical period from before and the Renaissance after. So just to let you know,
you only care about the Dark Ages being important because you want the Byzantine Empire to be legit strong in order for the Ottoman achievement of taking it over to sound more grand? No, dude. That's so dumb. No.
Definition of dark...
Like, if anything, you could make the argument that, like, the Byzantines got fucking owned at the tail end. Like, it's not an accomplishment. The true accomplishment is how long they fucking survived, despite being surrounded. So,
Dark Ages has changed since the days of Petrarch. Nowadays, it's a very specific term, but be aware that Dark Ages isn't synonymous with Middle Ages. It refers exclusively to Western Europe in the couple of centuries following the collapse of the Roman Empire. Of course, The question is, how true is the commonly held vision of this period? Were the Dark Ages really that dark and unenlightened? Well, in a word, no. In a sentence, not really, but also a little bit, depending on where and where you're talking about. So Western Europe had largely been united under the rule of the Roman Empire, and after its collapse it was divided into competing realms. There's obviously too many to speak of in any sort of detail, so we'll pick two extremes and compare them. The former province of Italia and that of Britannia, whose experiences of the Dark Ages are proof that they weren't quite as awful as is often made out to be. So in Britannia, after the Romans left...
Bro, the dude who was like, you're fucking wrong, literally sent me this video, and the video is basically saying exactly what I said.
Things went really well. Just kidding, they fell apart almost immediately. Things like a coin-based economy, urban living, and literacy died out there within a generation. Whereas in places like the Ostrogothic Kingdom, which occupied the former province of Italia and then some, very little changed. And whilst yes, it did now have a Germanic ruler, King Theodoric, he swore fealty to the Roman Emperor in the east. The Senate continued to meet in Rome and the Pope's rights were respected, although the official church of the Ostrogoths was centred in Ravenna. As for urban living, the number of people in towns and cities had declined massively in most places. Rome's population had declined from roughly 1 million people in the 3rd century to about 50,000 during the Ostrogothic period. But what about the peasantry? How did life change for them after Rome had gone? Well, frankly, not very much. Most people were born, lived and died working as agricultural labourers on the same farm as their forebears had. Localised famines were also much more common and couldn't be alleviated by a centralised authority, meaning that local starvation was much more common. This largely went away in Ostrogothic Italy when it was conquered in the 6th century by the Eastern Roman Empire, known then as the Roman Empire, which undermines Petrarch's notion of the post-Roman world being an unenlightened one because the Romans never went away. The Dark Ages did see many intellectual achievements though. Monasteries like Lindis...
It's like, when you wanna say that when you want to say that the Roman Empire was ended by the Ottomans, that's not true because that was the Byzantines. When you want to defend the Dark Ages as not being so dark, then no, the Byzantines are Romans, so they never actually went away. Technically, both is literally true. The main distinction being religion or whatever religious sect you have. But you do hear, you're seeing people play fast and loose with the Roman distinction there for sure. Roman Empire was dope though, for sure. I mean,
Isfahan and Monk Wearmouth Jarrow produced great historians like Bede. In the Ostrogothic kingdom, Boethius wrote the Consolation of Philosophy, which is one of the most important medieval texts ever written. And in terms of architecture, buildings like Theodoric's Mausoleum are testament to the fact that in the Dark Ages, things weren't as dark as they may seem. I hope you enjoyed this episode and thank you for...
that was it? Okay, we're done. Romans are Greeks 2.0 legit. 90% of the gods are copied with different names. You could say everyone copied the Greeks because everyone copied the Romans. Okay. All right, we're done. Let's get back to the fucking the ultimate Stonlock, which was
Why it is that you got your butt kicked. You know, what we know of them is what other people have described them as, and they're not leaving a lot of architecture, right? They like to conquer, they don't like to stick around and rule.
I'd imagine the settlements would be relatively small, except for maybe sort of trading centers, like certain urban centers where there was markets. You might have denser populations. We're sort of seeing the movers and shakers in the video games. It's not really that fun to play a Viking peasant that's out in the rural area and just tending their fields, I'm sure. From what I understand, the Vikings had something like kings.
No serfs, it's not like
yeah,
a serf
not like
structure.
a strictly feudal society, but I just, you know, the majority of the people would have been concerned with the immediate needs of growing food to eat and stockpiling enough to make it through winters, right? The majority of the people weren't the folks that are out there raiding settlements and conquering territories.
And it's a pretty seasonal environment, right? So winter is long. The worst part of the year is like early spring, where you're running out of the stuff from the winter, but the stuff you've been planting isn't producing yet. That's a great time to go raid. Well, I think with a lot of the raids, I mean, you're going after clumped resources, right? So the reason why we think of them going after monasteries, because they have lots of gold and they're not very good fighters. You're going to be strategic about like the cost-benefit analysis of where you're raiding, and probably monks are not particularly retaliatory.
And that would probably determine the size of the raiding party as well, right? Depending on what your target was. Yeah, here they are at a monastery.
Exactly. That's where the money is.
Yeah, get those gold goblets and candlesticks. What do you think about the weaponry here?
I mean, you see the axe as like a Hollywood version of what Vikings were using. I'm not really sure whether that's accurate.
Yeah.
Though I did slice my finger open on a Viking axe in Sweden one time.
Oh my goodness.
Did not realize how sharp it was.
And they're mostly wielding them with their hand, which I think that makes more sense than sort of throwing axes. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I don't think so. That requires a level of accuracy.
Yeah.
But certainly they had swords.
Some real up close and personal combat here. There he goes, right into the sanctuary. Get that gold.
Again, that's why you're so concerned about making sure it's a fight you're gonna win, because when it's close contact, right, you're not using like projectiles. You wanna make sure that you live the encounter.
A lot of conversion happening during this time they were political decisions more so than necessarily a heartfelt religious one. To make political alliances, conversion to Christianity was a good strategy for a lot of folks.
And doesn't mean that individual peasants are actually following through with, you know, the belief or the practices. Hence why we have so many pagan practices now incorporated into modern Christianity.
Yeah, and often kind of a top-down thing. People who are sort of high status convert. The average peasant is still out here talking about Odin and
Praying to tree spirits.
right.
Oh, hey,
Jeez.
that's some pecs.
Got some good old-fashioned torture happening, maybe. Is that why he's hanging upside down?
I wonder if
Ivar the
ratings was actually
Boneless.
a problem.
Oh my goodness. Very brutal stuff. Plausible. The whole, notion of human rights or that you should treat prisoners of war humanely is a really relatively new concept. Geneva Conventions only happened after World War II. If you were captured on the battlefield, if you weren't enslaved for life, you may very well have been subject to some very harsh treatment.
And the Vikings did have slaves. Though these hairstyles look awesome, and certainly I've seen people around town trying to replicate them, we probably don't have a great idea of the kind of hairstyles they're doing because that's not preserved in burials. And the art at the time is like very simplistic, very two-dimensional. I don't know how you would represent someone who's got like half their head shaved when you're just drawing people from the side. But we do have
Wait, it's all fucking made up?
some mummies from southern Siberia that do have some braided hair and some pretty cool tattoos.
I thought, wait, is this made up? I thought like the longer your fucking hair is in Viking culture, the higher your rank was, right? Or is that made up? Hold on. Longer hair is more practical, as long hair would shield from the intense cold as to cover the ears. Viking hairstyle. We have two witnesses for the hairs, the Norseman. Leo the Deacon, in his history, written about. Leo describes how John I Tzimiskes, a Byzantine emperor, met Sviatoslav, Prince of Kievan Rus, in July 971. Whether Leo himself was present at the meeting is unclear. Carl Benedict Hayes, critical edition. You meant Game of Thrones? This is Dothraki? No. I don't even remember that from the Dothraki. But isn't it crazy how Chuds have co-opted Vikings and ancient Greeks? Do you have any comments on why that is? I don't know why. I mean, Vikings are... I don't know why. I don't know where the fucking Viking shit comes from. I guess they're also like... There's like a little bit of paganism with... There's a little bit of paganism with the Vikings. It just comes from like being conquerors and like mythologizing white history. I think it's literally because they're white. I mean, they mythologize Romans too. And those motherfuckers weren't white. Like literally not white. And neither were like ancient Greeks either.
Thank you, Hassan Blobdads.
I read in the past the right wing were Europhobic, but the new alt-right wave is more Europhile. I mean, they say Jesus is white, so it's not that crazy. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. What do you mean, white?
Life is like a hurricane here in Bugsnax. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes, it's a bug blur. Might catch a snackery or eat a snowbie. Bugsnax. Woo. Everyday dare out there catching Bugsnax.
Nazis loving ancient Romans and Greeks are so stupid they thought ancient Germans were dumb barbarians. Yeah, dumb barbarians that they couldn't fucking conquer though. I mean, they were dumb barbarians, but, or like literal barbarians, but barbarians that put up a better fight than the rest of the world at the time. Barbarians were just non-Greeks. Barbarian is Latin for foreigner. They weren't even German. Okay, let's
You go to
see.
archaeology conferences and you see many people with replicas of those tattoos.
Called me boneless because I move like a reed in the wind.
I would have assumed he was
Some barbarians is the Turkic horse mater in the steppes. Bro, this is the thing that I don't understand. It's like, dude, we're so fucking far removed from that history. Like, you think I give a fuck? Oh, man. I'm so mad, dude. What? Like, oh, no, I can't believe you said the fucking Turks were horse maters in the steppes, dude. Whoa. Like, I hate these fucking 4chan level takes.
boneless for having like skeletal deformities, thinking like Richard III with his scoliosis.
Yeah, these are the theories that I've heard as well, that he was born with some kind of congenital disability, and that's where the name came
Osteoporosis, right?
from.
Or something?
Valhalla. That is where I am bound. I can smell the blood and taste the meat.
Yeah, I mean, that seems accurate. They weren't afraid to die. You
gotta
get to go to Valhalla.
You're not going to be a good warrior culture if you don't have a strong belief in an afterlife or some sort of reward for your behavior.
And be reunited with people that you lost on the battlefield. Yeah. Ooh.
Is that like the Rainbow Bridge?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
It does seem a little bit influenced by Marvel Universe, perhaps, but
Yeah, I'm wondering if 9th century Scandinavians would have even imagined an architectural structure like this in the afterlife. But it's real pretty.
we don't want to underestimate their ability to be imaginative.
Sure. Are we gonna get to see Odin?
And there are, hallucinogenic mushrooms growing in the area, so we don't want to deny their ability to take advantage of those.
And visit Odin.
Is there an elevator? Because that's a really
Send
high
watch this bar
tower.
shape
Well,
info
he's
video,
just
please.
gonna go for it, it looks like. I mean, he's in Asgard, so what could go wrong?
Gravity doesn't have to apply.
No. Is that supposed to be Freya?
Thor, so we're definitely, these are gods.
Yeah, hence the real fancy clothing, right? It would have been very high status. What's higher than a god?
Any pieces that are made from like multiple materials is typically pretty high status.
I'm digging the beads in the beard. I don't know how accurate it is, but I like it.
You could find that in a burial, I would imagine.
Is he bringing Thor with him into battle? It can't hurt to have a hammer-wielding god on your side.
Is that a bow and arrow on his shoulder?
That does look like a bow and arrow.
We haven't seen them wielding projectile weapons so far.
Could he have picked up that bow from an enemy?
Yeah, potentially.
Here is the battle you died to attain! For Heavy and for Asgard!
Wow, exciting stuff. I'm glad they took us into Asgard. That was really fun to see.
Bring in like the religion to it, because most of the stuff has been grounded really in like village life and raiding life.
Not too bad with the accuracy.
Yeah, I mean, looking at their outfits, the way they're portraying themselves with hair and tattoos, all seem relatively plausible.
And if not, fun to watch anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos like
This is kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like they didn't. I don't know if it's sexism or not, but they just felt unsure. They were being way too nice, yeah. Oh, top of the hour, every hour, 6-second ad break. Of course. Which means ad time. Ad time. But I want to play some chill shit instead of Tarkov. I know everyone wants me to play Tarkov, but I want to play something chill. You know, a little bug, a little snack. After that. Here's the ad.
1 year of Dono Wall, so I'll just say Hassle Chat, follow me on Twitch Kek.
Might be off topic. What religion are you a part of? I've been watching some YouTube videos about religion. I'm wondering where you fall. I'm a Pastafarian, bro. Yeah, true.
Double mint sub.
Bunger. The problem with bug snacks is that you can't really. Most 4chan calls Mediterranean people shit skins. What? Boom. This game has probably the best, like, for a fucking child's game, it has an incredible soundtrack, incredible fucking voice acting. It's overall really shitty. It's not like a big deal. It's not like... Alright, I gotta find bobsicles and pop ticks. Wait, what are the pop ticks? Chat did win, yeah. That's like not even a joke. Cramdell wants cold feet. Wait, is that a pop tick? No, that's a Scorpio. Oh, that's a pop tick. Maybe some heat will puff them up. Try this shit then. Oh shit, I'm on fire. I'm on motherfucking fire, dude. Wait, stop! No! I'm on fire! Ah! Ah! Get his bitch ass, dude. Wait, why is he attacking it? Oh, shit! Bro, don't hit it, don't hit it, don't hit it, don't hit it. Are you doing any more politics today? Just kidding. Fuck politics. Thank you. Okay, I gotta fucking clap this dude's cheeks. Okay, got it. What does this thing hate again? Loves mustard. Okay. Wait, I don't even have mustard. Fuck. Yeah, hit that thing. Don't touch me. Please be on the right side. Let me get this piece of shit. Yeah, deal with that. Deal with that. Oh, please be enough. Please be on the pathing. Please be on the pathing. Oh god, I think it's on the path. Okay, good. Wait, fuck! Fuck! Okay. Yes! Oh, I'm on fire! I'm on literal fucking fire! Oh god! Oh my god, I'm so mad. Why can't I just... Okay, this is harder than I thought it was gonna be. Okay, okay. Maybe the Scorpion will fuck it up. How did it get stun locked before? Yeah, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. Hit that thing. Yes! Yes! Woo! Fucking got him, dude. Freaking got him, dude. Freaking heckin' woofer, man. Heart rate monitor? No, I don't have it, dude. There's also no reason to fucking do a heart rate monitor here. All right, where's
How's it going?
Where's musician Andy?
How you doing?
What is this? Hot sauce? Nice. This guy grows everything, dude. Hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Fuck you. Wombus. Where is musician lady? Wait, isn't she literally... Fuck, where is she? Oh, there she is. Here you go. Feeding time. Get some pop ticks in you.
Oh.
I look ridiculous, and I don't have a single new tune in my head. What a woeful journey I've taken.
Woo!
Darling, I apologize for putting you through such an ordeal. I can see that this simply is... Oh, not near. Though it pains me to return without a new single.
So we fucking...
I shall face the music and greet my adoring fans. Aloha, darling.
All right, I got her back to Snacksburg. Where are the pop ticks? Does anyone know?
Sweet, 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 sweetie pie.
You're aware that this game is made by a fascist, right? Dude, your mom is a fascist, dude, and I still fucked her, so I don't care. Yeah, where are the bopsicles? What? You gotta
How's
go.
it going? Snacksburg is looking pretty busy tonight. Seems like a great time to gather everybody around the old campfire.
Bitch, you always want to throw parties, dude.
Nothing like a campfire, eh, buddies?
Beat sitting in the dark. I tell you, there's some spooky stuff out there.
There ain't nothing out there, just bug snacks and trees. You're just yellow.
I'm not yellow, I'm pink. There's really something
I'm not
stopping me,
yellow!
watching me from the shadows. Keeps me up at night.
I've seen something similar up on top of the canyon. Real curious.
Probably just a wild animal.
Darling, there are no animals here. None but we, that is.
I too saw the thing.
Can we talk about something else?
You know, the
Pussy.
desert grumps, they had some odd rituals. They'd take their old and dying and seal them in secret caves.
Whatever for? Were the dead going to rise from the grave?
No, not as such. It's more the bodies would just disappear.
What? How?
The writing's kind of vague, sadly. All I know is they had a rash of vanishing corpses. Long as they were exposed, oh, heck, even if they buried them in the sand, the body wouldn't be there the next day. Though some of the time, there'd be a little left. Just a few bones.
I'm getting a chill just thinking about it.
You're getting a chill because the fire's gone out.
Oh, you're right. Hey, buddy, would you mind picking up some firewood? It's over by the mill.
Uh-oh. You know, the biggest problem with this game is that it doesn't have a map system. Like, where's the mill? I don't know. Is this it? This is creepy as fuck, dude.
Okay, where were we? Triffany, you were saying something about the zombies?
No zombies.
I'm scared!
Spooky as the disappearing stiffs may be, that's just a story I read on a wall. We got nothing to fear from the dead.
I'm more worried about the living.
The living?
Obviously, we're not the first Grumpuses to make it to Snacktooth. So what makes us think all the others are dead? I've seen those chewed up skeletons around the island.
I'm
We all
scared!
know something kills Grumpuses out there, and it has teeth. Bug snacks don't have teeth. And like Wiggle said, there aren't animals out here other than us.
She's not wrong about the bones.
Time out. I gotta use a little grump shroom.
Now hold on. You saying Grumpuses turn cannibal? That's ridiculous. We ain't got the stomachs for it.
Floofty eats Grumpus.
No way that's true.
Oh, it's true. Late one night, I saw Floofty dragging something along the beach. When I got closer, I saw what it was. A severed leg.
What?
And as I watched, they held it up to their mouth. And then, they took a bite out of it.
Don't mess with my head, Beth. You're gonna scare me snackless. Ah! Oh, Grump. Is somebody gonna check on Philbo?
I'll do it. I'll fucking do it, goddammit. Check if Philbo is okay in the bathroom. Yo, Philbo, you stuck in there, brother? Where's the bathroom? Oh, God, it's scary. Oh, no. What the fuck? What?
Oh, hey, buddy. Sorry, I got a little too spooked, and I came here to calm down. Huh? Are you feeling okay? Well,
What? What in the high heaven? What in the hell was that?
sorry about that. What I miss?
Can we just quit it with the spooky stuff? I don't think I could get any sleep.
Darling, calm yourself. For I know what lurks in the shadow.
Bro, I'm actually scared. What the fuck?
It's the queen of bug snacks. A bug snack bigger than any we've ever seen!